practice what you preach. This is probably the most basic yet striking lesson that we can learn from the life of the Pharisees. Hypocrisy is embedded on their identity and legacy in the lives of the Jewish people. In Matthew chapter 23 verses 2 to 3, we can see that Jesus said to the crowds and the disciples, "The teachers of the law and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So you must be careful to do everything they tell you, but do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach." The question is, why did Jesus tell them to do everything the Pharisees are telling them? It's not just once that Jesus called out their hypocrisy. Many times during the Sermon on the Mount in chapters 5 to 7, he called out their intent in praying. In Mark 7 and Matthew 15, he called out their pretentious act of following the commands of God for the sake of pleasing people. Well, actually, in verse 5, Jesus said that everything they do is for people to see. So why do you think Jesus told them to do everything they tell the people? Well, Jesus is not invalidating their position as teachers of the law, for what they teach is the Jewish scriptures. Jesus' main concern is not what they teach, but in what they do. Because in verse 3, he told them, because in verse 3b, or in the second part of the verse 3, he told them to do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. Brothers and sisters in the Lord, let us not follow the example of the Pharisees. Let us not make our actions be a negation of what comes of our mouth. Don't live a double standard life, teaching God's word but acting otherwise. Let us walk the talk, let us practice what we preach.